we'll give everybody just a few minutes to get linked in and chime in. My name is Tracy Pryor, and I'm the Chief Development Officer at Pet Partners, and I am so excited to be able to welcome some wonderful friends and supporters of Pet Partners today. Dana, we are so excited to have you.
Thank
And we
you.
will, if you're in, and we're so excited to be talking with Rennie today. She's got her little furry friend on her lap. We're going to meet. Oh, hello. I see the Pet Partners tag. So we're gonna have a great fun conversation today and talk a little bit about the value of supporting our therapy animal teams, our partners' role in that. Just learn a little bit, get to know Rennie a little bit and her pet partners. And so before we get started, if anybody could just throw some comments in the chat to let us know that you're here, maybe share where you're tuning in from today. If you have a wonderful pet partner or a special friend, let us know. And we will get started here in just a few minutes. I am in Virginia today and so excited to be here. Pet Partners is gearing up. We've got a lot going on. We're coming up on National Therapy Animal Day here next month in April. We're hearing from so many of you who are starting to get back to some visiting, getting busy with our distance visiting and virtual visiting, all of those good things. Oh, I see Mary Emma. Hi, Mary Emma. We've got Annie in Bellevue, Karina in Nevada. We've got Washington, D.C. So you're here. Yay, you're hearing us. We always have a panic right at the beginning. Like, can anyone hear us and see us? Oh, Allison, Sandy. So great. We've got lots of friends chiming in here today. I could talk the entire hour just bragging about these two wonderful women who are amazing supporters of Pet Partners. And I get the true honor just to introduce them today. And they're going to have a great conversation, get to know each other a little bit more and share a little bit more about their various volunteer and support roles with Pet Partners. So Dana, she's such a great friend and volunteer of Pet Partners. She is on our board. She's one of our national board members. How many years have you been on our board, Dana?
Three-year
3 years.
anniversary.
3 years on our board, and she is the CEO of the Pet Food Institute, and they are an amazing supporter of Pet Partners. I think it's been 6 years that we've partnered up. They're an amazing strategic partner of ours. They support us throughout the years. They help us to raise awareness about Pet Partners. They support us financially. They allow our teams to come out and meet so many wonderful people and represent the pet food industry. So your members represent a huge majority of folks, right, that are manufacturing pet food, treats, all that good stuff.
That's right. Probably over 95% of the U.S. pet food made are members of us, of Pet Food Institute.
Yeah, so we can't be more grateful and can't say thank you enough. So I know I thank you a lot, but now on screen in front of all our friends, I want to say thank you for your support. It's very meaningful. It allows us to expand our work and do more things and support more wonderful teams like Rennie. And I know you have a background. You've done work on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. and have a background there. So I can't wait to hear a little bit, and I hope you'll share a little bit about your background with us as well. And Rennie, so veteran volunteer. I mean, this says you've been volunteering since 2006?
Yes, I've had several teams since 2006, but we've loved every minute. I haven't never taken a break. It's just one of the things that I do. It's very important is like our work with my therapy dogs, you know. Actually, I accepted a job. Well, I applied to be a volunteer prior to accepting my last job because I wanted to make sure we could get in to, you know, do our therapy dog work.
And you work at the Children's Hospital in Phoenix, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And have also done that in Arkansas. And you guys both have ties to Arkansas because I know, Dana, that's where you went to school and that's where your background is. So I'm looking at this going, oh, and they both are Arkansas ladies.
Yeah.
So it looks like while we've been chatting, we have tons of people who have joined us. So hello to Anna, Mary, Hannah, Rosie, Susan, Daniel, so many great folks are joining us today. And so what we want to do is just give Dana and Rennie a chance to just talk a little bit. I know we're going to hear a little bit about their various roles, because they both have very important but different roles in supporting pet partners. So we want to talk a little bit about that. And also, I want to make sure anybody that's watching, feel free to join in, ask any questions as they're discussing. If they're not talking about something that you're really curious, you want to hear a little bit more about the Pet Food Institute, or I know even Rennie, you're an evaluator with us as well. And you have this interesting, because you're professionally working at a hospital where there are also therapy animals visiting. So many cool perspectives and wonderful, unique things to chat about today. So I am going to turn it over to Dana, because I know you really have some things that are pressing that you want to hear and learn and talk about with Rennie. So, Dana?
Thank you, Tracy. And it's so exciting to be here today. I never knew where my career path would lead me 3 years ago when I accepted the position at Pet Food Institute. I know the path looked a little windy, but I sit here today and I look back and the path is straight and narrow, and it's just been a blessing. And then as the chair and CEO of President and CEO of Pet Food Institute, I had the wonderful pleasure of being able to join your board. And man, I thought I understood the human-animal bond until joining the board of Pet Partners and hearing the stories and being able to interact with some of the teams. It's just amazing. And I hope that after today that I have a few friends or family members that are listening, as probably most of your listeners today probably are relatives, but I hope that they find this to be very interesting and they see a future in Pet Partners and can join, either support us through financial donations or, walk to the world's largest pet walk, or go online and just give donations, get the t-shirt, or even more importantly, be one of our wonderful handler teams, like we're going to talk to Rennie and her fur friends that are her team. So I'm going to just jump right in. I had the pleasure to get to talk to Rennie a little bit earlier in the weeks, and boy, I'm excited for her to share her story. But there's something that's very close to me. I've had a niece and nephew in Arkansas, and both have spent some time at the Arkansas Children's Hospital. And to find out that's how Rennie got her story into being a pet partner team, just almost as, it's just divine. So Rennie, I want you to tell us about yourself and about your two companions. I'm not going to give out their names yet because they're just so cute, and I want you to immediately go right into how you were introduced to working with therapy dogs and pet partners, and bring that right into being in Arkansas. So
absolutely. So I had started a job at Arkansas Children's Hospital, and I was walking to the main campus for lunch one day, and a lady was entering the building with her dog, and I stopped her and was like, "Excuse me, ma'am, dogs can't go in the hospital." And she's like, "Oh, this is a therapy dog. We work here." And I was like, "Oh, well, okay. All right, that's pretty neat." And this was back in, I guess, 2004, maybe. So they weren't as widely known as they are now. And so I was like, "Oh, that's really cool. That's a great idea." And so later I looked on the website. Oh, we do have a whole therapy animal team here in Arkansas. Wow, that's great. And so I went about my day and everything, and, didn't think really much about it, or if my dog would be suitable to be a therapy dog. And then, my dog was young. She was really well trained. We knew all kinds of tricks. We'd been to every training course we could find. And we were out one day and somebody said, "Can my daughter pet your dog?" "Absolutely, yes. We just like to pet her like this." And the little toddler walked up to my dog that was 30 pounds and shoved her thumbs up her nose. The dog pulled back, looked at me as in, "What do I do? Is this how I get pet? Should I do?" And I was like, "Oh, oops." And the mom was like, devastated because, of course she could have bit her child or, anything. But I was like, "Oh, well, let's turn around and pet this other side. And my dog was not phased. She let her pet. They did some tricks together. And often I thought, well, she did really good with that little child. Maybe she could be a therapy dog. So I got the test online, and I did everything online, and I printed out this test and all the documents and everything. And I went back to my dog trainer. I said, I want to train for this. We need to train. We need to get the skills ready to pass this test. And at that time in Arkansas, there were no evaluators. There wasn't an organization like AblePaws that's there now. Animals Brighten Lives. Yes, Able, it's there now to prep you. So I drove up to Memphis to do, a skills test, drove back down. Like a month later, drove up for the eval, drove back down. And we passed the eval and we started at the hospital. And Priscilla, she's over the shoulder. Well, one of my shoulders. You can see in the back. I'm like all confused. And she and I were a team at Arkansas Children's Hospital for 12 years. And then when I got a job at Phoenix Children's Hospital, she came here a year and worked before she retired. And now I have 2 therapy dogs at Phoenix Children's. This is little Tilly.
Hi,
and
Tilly.
let me pan over. There's Lucy. Hey, Lucy.
Hi, Lucy. Oh.
You can see Lucy with her bow in her hair. That's her signature, is her bow.
She's living her best life on the bed over there. You go, Lucy.
That's where they managed me from working. Like we work in here and the dogs sit on the bed and tell me what to do. Like I need a treat. So we've just been, I think Lucy and I have been a team for 5 years now, and Tilly just passed her evaluation in September. Through COVID, we had a kind of a different evaluation than what we're used to because of, the mask. And I think everything went wrong with that mask that could have. You bend over and I was trying to change her leash out and it fell off. And I'm like, oh no, I can't let go of the leashes and I need to get this back on. And it was I would say if you're evaluating wearing your mask, practice wearing your mask before the evaluation, which I did not do really well.
Good advice, though, because it's different even if you're reevaluating. If it's a new experience, we're all getting more used to it. But while you're handling and all of that, that's a big thing. Yeah. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I'll note that, it looks like Lucy's up and moving around, but, they just got off of work earlier. So they had a big day. And that's one of the things I wanted to ask you about because I'm on Zoom calls all day, or I talk to people. My mom said I found the best job for me that I talk. But it's exhausting. And so how do you know when your team member, your partner there, your fur friends, how do you know if they're enjoying the interaction and when they're tired or how you, and then you brought something up that I hadn't thought about, but they have to see people en masse. So how do they know the emotions or, if they can't see someone's face, did that change any with Tilly or with Lucy with their interaction with people?
Well, the dogs know. They already know. They don't need to see our face. They can get things from smells, from sounds, from just the way people feel. So it's more, it's a lot of us going, are they enjoying this? Or, but our dogs kind of tell us if they're enjoying. But so Tilly is very energetic for a small dog. She loves to seek out people. We've been on our 2-hour visits, and she is not wanted to be picked up. She's ready to go. She's on all fours. She's greeting. She's moving. She's, she is. I have not seen her get tired yet, but I think when Tilly's just in a normal day and gets a little tired, she just laid her whole self down and her head is down. So I'm gonna maybe think we're getting to that breaking point where we're done and we're tired and we want to rest. Lucy, when she gets tired, it takes a lot more motivation and treats for a high five or for her to jump in a bed. I think our record at Phoenix Children's is seeing 26 kids in one day. Wow. And that's moving quite a bit. That's in and out of a lot of beds. it's a lot of pets, and it's pretty exhausting for her. But you'll see the tail will not be quite as high and shake quite as fast, and she might be done a little bit. And I've seen some dogs that'll physically orient to the door and go, okay, that's it. Where's the car? But Lucy's pretty good, and Lucy's looking at me like, all right, I maybe have one more, Mom. And and I just kind of get the feeling, and you just know that, like, yeah. And I don't push them to go a little further. If it's been an hour and a half and they seem like a little, in our shift's 2 hours, I'm like, let's do one more visit, and then I think we're done. But they kind of, just
That's
like
great.
we train, dogs kind of have to train up for it. For us to be on our feet, walking around for 2 hours, paying extra attention to everything, managing treats and notes and all that kind of stuff, it's exhausting for us too. So you have to realize they're exhausted. They can't just, as a brand new team, you're not going to go out and just, do a full 2-hour shift. Which is the maximum recommended by Pet Partners. You're not going to be able to do that necessarily. You'll have to ease into it, because you have to get your own rhythm too, and how often to treat, and are you taking a water break, and do you need to go outside for a potty break? And it's kind of the same with any other animals. If you're visiting with a cat or a mini horse or a pocket pet, everybody's got different animals, and you kind of know them, and when to expect them to need a break as well, whether it's just a water break or something. Lucy, by the end of our shift, like I hold on to that leash, but I know when we get off on the last floor and go to clock out, she knows exactly where that door is and wants the water bowl as soon as we get in there. She's thirsty, she's worked hard, and then she's ready to go home. That was a really long answer.
No, but you brought up a few questions that I want to ask. Follow up some, some real touchy feeling questions. But I am with the Pet Food Institute, and I heard you mention treating. I'd like to hear how you do that, and especially, we're all going through what one of my friends calls, like, instead of the freshman 15, it's the COVID-19. It's more about the poundage. So, how are you managing that with, your home every day now, work from home, but then treating is a part of the reward system. So how do you keep them slim and trim and active, and, like you said, in shape to do these visits?
So what I found through over the years is, you can't feed them full breakfast, full dinner, and all the treats it takes to get everything done. A lot of people don't treat during visits, and that's fine. But my girls, if I'm asking for a high level trick or something, they're like, let's try this, and the dog's perched precariously on a stool because that's where the patient can reach them. I'm going to have to give a little higher value reward. So I've got to have, I got to have the money. They're there to get paid. Sometimes it's a little more than a pet that we need to do it. So I will adjust their food. So, like Tilly this morning, when she went to go volunteer with the staff, I got her breakfast out, and I put her breakfast in a little baggie to take. So she was earning her breakfast until she's awake now. She was earning her breakfast as she was working today. And also,
she knows what you're talking about. Look at this.
And like, I'll take her little kibble and break it in half. And so now it's 2 treats, and she's got half a kibble. If one piece is bigger, if I can break it down, I will, because she will happily work for this little teeny tiny piece. And as I said before, sometimes you have to have higher value. So there might be, a meatier treat in there, a little teeny piece of cheese or something, but it has to be big enough to also work for, because, like the ice, if you've got something better than ice, they're not working for ice. Some people have, and Lucy loves fruits and vegetables, and so does Tilly. We do a pet therapy live show with kids going, my dog will eat that. And, they will work for lettuce. They will work for carrots. They will work for broccoli. So some nice little things. Now, you can't carry broccoli around with you, but you can use it at home to train. But also when
Let's
you
go back to it. I really like the fact that you're using kibble.
yes, and our
Pet
kibble,
food
like
as a treat.
Pet food. You like the pet food treats, don't you, Dana?
and so when I
Great
think
reward.
when you visit as well, it's kind of important that if you're taking just treats and you got a bag of treats, we have to think about peanut butter allergies. While dogs love a peanut butter biscuit, you don't want to hand that to a patient if they want to give your dog a treat, because you don't know if that can get in their eye or the mouth, or if they're going to be allergic to however much peanut butter is in that item. So you just have to be aware of, this, if it's lamb or duck or chicken in here, if, somebody's got an allergy to that, it's far less likely than a peanut butter. And also usually have to tell, especially in pediatrics, that this is the dog's treat, not your treat. Although it's, when you feed a good quality food, it is human grade and they could eat it, but no, we have to try to stop that.
Thanks for indulging me in that conversation. One of the things I just think it's so important is to talk about the action or the reaction you get when you take the dogs in, and especially that you work in or in Children's Hospital, whether Arkansas or Arizona. But I'd love for you to share one of your, a specific visit or a moment that comes into your mind where your dog really helped someone, and maybe it's something you didn't even see or wasn't that you weren't expecting.
There's so many. I'm going to try not to cry. There's like the smallest things happen that you don't realize are important. And I'll go back to Priscilla at Arkansas Children's, because this was just one that I seemed fine to me and I didn't realize it, and everybody else was busting into tears. But we're in the playroom where kids come to meet the dog, and there's games and paint and all the kinds of fun things that you'd want in a playroom. And, we're there, and they brought a patient in, and she's in their wheelchair, and they're like, oh, let's play your sounds and everything. And Priscilla and I've got Priscilla on her mat, and we're doing tricks, and we're waving and doing all kinds of things. And I was like waving at the girl. I was like, Priscilla, wave. You can just wave. And the little girl got up, took 2 steps, and hugged her neck so hard. And Priscilla was like, oh, and I was like, oh, let's give her a treat. And the mom, the grandmother, the nurse were all in tears. It was the first time since the child had surgery several days earlier that she had walked. And she stood up and just walked to the dog like it's nothing. And it's, it was just the power of, that simple thing. Oh, I saw a dog that's pretty. Priscilla is Princess Priscilla. She was decked out with her nail polish and a matching collar and leash. And, it's just one of those things that she saw, the dog all dressed up and just went. So, you don't expect those things to happen. You couldn't coach those things to happen. It just did. And I mean, little things happen all the time that we don't even know. That's might incredible. Just be, oh my gosh, I've not seen that patient smile. That is the first smile that we've seen since they've gotten here. And when you'll get chased down the hall by a nurse that can be like, oh, can you come help us? You've got the dog. And they're, trying to take a C-collar off, but you have to make sure they can move. And they're not doing it for a nurse, but you bring a dog in and go, all right, here's their ball. Do you see their ball? Where's their ball going? They'll move their head all over to watch the dog and the ball, and it's all those like little magical things that dogs just can do.
How do you do it? How do you hold together watching this? And you've been doing this for, again, how many years?
16, I think. I think I keep it together at the time because I'm just focused on my teammate. We are there together. I'm just watching them, watching their reaction. If we have a therapeutic goal to make somebody move an arm or to make them talk about things, talk about the dog, do any kind of that. That's all I'm focused on. I'm not focused on, are we getting the outcome and what's going on? I'm focused on in the minute and those small things that we're doing, not kind of like a bigger picture. And so sometimes I'm like, I don't necessarily notice immediately that they're smiling because I'm, watching the interaction, making sure we're not on wires, we're not on cables, we're not laying on the patient too much, on all those kind of little things. So sometimes I don't really realize what's happened until afterwards, and I go, oh wait, we did it. Somebody moved, somebody smiled, somebody said something. And, at both Arkansas Children's and Phoenix Children's, we have escorts with us that kind of help document the visit. So, a lot of times it might be, in Arkansas, it was a child life specialist, and at Phoenix Children's, we have an escort and sometimes other child life staff that might go, oh, okay, now our goal is, or do you realize? And I was like, oh my gosh, they said they may have seen the patient a week ago. Oh, they're doing so much better. They're so happy. This made their day. And sometimes it's, parents or not even the patients that benefit from just seeing the dog.
Renee, you are a super team. We know that about you. You spend a lot of time going to these visits. So if you can tell folks listening, how many days or hours do you go? And then when you said in a 2-hour shift that you saw, more than 20 patients, that's a lot. I don't want to overwhelm someone that's sitting here going, I'd love to do that, but I don't know if I can. So you tell what you do as a super team. And then Tracy, maybe we can say, you don't have to do that many if someone's out there and wants to start volunteering, but Renee, again, super team, tell us how many times you visit and a month. And
it totally depends on where you want to visit and what they want you to do. Some places will be a timed visit. You spend 15 minutes, and when you walk in, we're going to spend 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, and it could be very short. You could see very few people. Sometimes your dog might be suitable to one-on-one visits and not a group. And there's all kinds of different ways to start. No one throws your dog, your team into something super hard. And that's why, as a team, your limits, if you can do that and you can't do that. And that's part of, of being a team and, being predictable and reliable and knowing your animal with you. But Pet Partners limits our visits at 2 hours, which is very smart and reasonable because 2 hours in a dog's life is way more than, our 2 hours. And so some people don't do that. Some people do an hour. You do what you can get, what you want and what your team can do. And you can start out, I'd suggest if you want to be a therapy team to figure out where you're going to volunteer or contact Pet Partners to find the places in your area to see what it's like and to see where things are. If you have an older dog, you might need to make sure parking's not very far away so they don't use all of their energy just walking to the facility. If you have a carried dog or a cat or a pocket pet or something, what kind of things do you need for your team to be successful to even get into a facility or a place to go and visit? If you've got something that needs a ramp or all those kind of different things. But you don't have to start out with so many visits. As a beginning team, usually, you can find someone, especially on some of the Pet Partners Facebook groups and everything, and you can always chat on some of the groups and ask for recommendations on things to do. But right now, we would, in the before times, 2 hours in-person visits. In the current times, we are doing Zoom visits that are about 30 minutes in length with multiple dogs on the call. And we take callers and requests for tricks or to answer a question or things. today's visit, we talked all about dog hygiene and what do our dogs do before they get ready for a visit? We take baths and we do our nails and we get our teeth brushed and we brush our hair. And we put on our clean gear and our badges. So there's all kinds of things you can do, like in a Zoom visit. We are starting back in person with some staff. So that's very exciting. Our staff are thrilled to be able to see the dogs. Let's see, I guess I visit 2 or 3 times a week in Zoom.
Yeah, I was going to say with your Zoom meetings, so you say, well, that could be easier because you're not traveling, but I'm just imagining keeping the dogs, engaged on, I'm on my iPhone with a computer and iPad, and keeping them in the videos gotta be a challenge. But I'm now following more pets on Instagram than anywhere else, but I know that, or anything else I'm following, because it makes me happy, better to see that than the news these days. But I love what you have are the pet trading cards. Your little pet partner
they're
cards.
so sweet. Yeah, look at that.
So tell like, these are collectors, like the hospital, the kids love them. So tell stories about that, and when you make the visits. I have a few that I've collected, but go ahead.
So yeah, so these are Lucy and Tilly's at Phoenix Children's, and they have their little pictures on them. Lucy, has her bow, because we always have a bow. Oh, this is Lucy. We always have a bow. Bow all the time. And Tilly only has one eye, so she's Tilly Winks. She has a permanent wink.
Tilly.
And on the back of their cards is like a little bio, their birthdays, things like that. The kids and staff and our security teams love these cards, and they collect them. If they see a dog, it's like, do you have a card? That's like automatically the thing. There's so many of our security teams that have them in their, like, they have a little pocket booklet of all their stuff, and they have all the dogs. And I've got this one and this one. But we also visit with Gabriel's Angels. So we have a separate card for Gabriel's Angels. This is Lucy. And then Pet Partners, we have our cards when we do Pet Partners specific visits. So Tilly's aren't in yet, but this is Lucy's. And it's on the back's got a bio. So depending on where we go, we've got cards for that. Just because people they like to keep the cards, and it's a reminder. And kids in the hospital, I've seen Lucy 5 times. Oh, this is a different picture. I need that one. Oh, it's changed. They all notice the small things, and I think it's a very nice, little a little keepsake from the event. And I can't tell you, when we first started visiting, Lucy wasn't totally jazzed about cameras and it going making those little noises. But I can tell you now, she knows what this is. She knows, when that camera comes out, she's all like, hi.
She's used to the paparazzi now. She's ready for her.
Yeah.
Is she giving skinny arm? Is she giving the skinny arm now?
Yeah. And so, she also knows she gets paid for those photos. So she loves the treats.
Oh, some treats. Good for her. Yeah. That's so good. Well, Dana, you asked about volunteering, and that's the cool thing at Pet Partners is our handlers can kind of really decide with their schedule, with how much their animal's comfortable with. Rennie, she's modest, but you can just tell, and I'm sure you can tell, Dana, by talking to her, that she's taking that role of advocating for her animal so seriously. So she's so in tune to what's working as a team, what they enjoy, the types of visits, the types of settings. So like she said, some you might want a quiet setting. Maybe it's a senior care community or it's a one-on-one visit. And other animals thrive in that high energy environment, a classroom or a busy bustling facility. So it's all about, I think, determining what you're comfortable with. Because there's also that emotional toll for the handlers, right? I'm sure you've had this experience where some of our folks, they might be doing a hospice visit, or they might be visiting folks when they're in a very stressful time in their lives. And that's hard for us as humans, right? And so sometimes these, campus de-stress events or going to a community fair or something, a lighthearted thing, it's nice to throw in the mix because it's good for us to take that break as humans and to provide a lighthearted environment for our animals.
I'll add an event that I was able to participate in, and you've been to DC a couple times, Tracy, but post-election, um, when we had pet night on the hill after a midterm election a couple,
Uh-huh.
I guess a year or so ago, and it was, the staff had been up all night. It's in Congress, and we did, and we had some pet partner teams come in, and that was a really much because it's very stressful, and you have young staffers losing their jobs, or it's a high stress environment, and then
Yeah.
just to see them come in, sit on the floor in one of the House of Representatives foyers and pet the dogs, and it was. It made my day better. It was a tough day for me as well. It's just DC. And then to
Stressful,
be able
high
to just,
pressure.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
And you
walked
see all
in
these
all
people in their
tensed up and I left and I was all
yeah.
happy too.
Everyone in their power
So
suits.
that
That's
was
my
great.
favorite. They're all in their like power suits and they're all, dressed in nice, very professional. Then they're laying on the ground like, oh, come here, Fluffy, let me see you. Or Lucy, Tilly. They'll curl up with
Yeah.
and get comfortable and you'll just see, that stress drop from people's faces. So it's important that I think you're doing it just right, Rennie. You kind of know where you thrive, you know where your animals, where your pets thrive, and also picking up those cues. You said you're so in tuned to your animal, and that's
Yeah.
really you're there to help a bunch of humans feel a lot better, but you're also there to really advocate and protect your animal, make sure they're enjoying it too, right?
Yes. And also, I want to, Pet Partners does have like our grassroots advocacy program that you can sign up for. So we're also part of that. And those are, using the built-in form and messaging your senators and your legislators about different bills or different things that might be coming up that's important. Lucy's actually been to the Arizona House of Reps. She's been to meetings for different child advocacy grants or bills that have been coming up so that we can have people that discuss it. Let's bring a therapy dog there and and show what kind of good programs are out there, or let's bring a therapy dog in and show the difference between a therapy dog and a service dog, those kind of things too. So if you're interested in that, there's a place in Pet Partners where you can go sign up for that. I would highly recommend it. There's a lot of things that are so important that we want to keep our our therapy dogs able to keep going and doing visits. So there's great things to sign up for, and it's not a whole bunch of emails. It's not super time consuming or anything. So go look at that and check that out if you're interested. But we've had great visits in the Senate and the House here in Arizona. And Lucy's of course got pictures in there by the seal and in front of the big columns.
I'll say that,
She's got quite the resume.
The need is so great right now for having more teams, having evaluators. 2020 was tough, and with people being able to get out and interact, and there's hope in 2021. I'd like to say for those that are interested in being a team or being an evaluator, if you felt like you couldn't get in the list in the queue last year, please keep trying. I mean, we desperately would love to have more teams. I know my hometown school in Southeast Arkansas would love to be able to have a team come in and visit, but it's those it's hard to find it. Like Rennie, you were one of the first in the state, and in Arkansas, and so friends and family that are on here, I expect to see you on the Pet Partners website checking it out. And look into this, and we'll try to help connect you with some resources if you need. I know you know how to find me. But Tracy, is there anything that you want to add to this, or do we have any questions that we need to be taking?
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on the questions. I have a question for you, Dana, because I mentioned at the start of the call that Pet Food Institute is an amazing supporter. I mean, you have so many great causes and things that you are all involved in promoting the health and well-being of our pets and that relationship in our life. Why why did you all decide to support Pet Partners? Because we're so grateful for it. And as a partner, you do so many things to help elevate so that more people know about us, so that more people understand our role. And what made you guys decide to support us and to continue this partnership so many years? Because we're so grateful for it.
Well, I was really very blessed to be able to inherit this from the previous CEO, Kathy Enright, and I hope she's on today too.
Hi, Kathy, if you
But
are, we miss you.
I sent her an invite, but I was a little late in the game. But I think that for us, working in the pet food, learning more about the human-animal bond and the relationship, you can't help but learn about it when you're introduced. Nutrition is important, and everything that we do to make your pets live long, healthy lives. But we see what, we're doing that for the pet, but what are they, they give so much to us. And I know I took it for granted for years, and a personal experience saw how pets changed a family member's life and gave hope and encouragement. And so then seeing what you do and what Pet Partners does, it's just where we need to be, and we need to be supporting this relationship and the growth that we have, because life does get harder, and no matter what, like a touch is important. And especially we're going to see that more after we haven't been able to hug people in the last 12 months. But how we can build this unconditional love, support those that need it. Maybe they can't have a pet. Maybe they don't have the ability to, but our teams that can go in and show that, it's just, I don't know, it's the human side, it's the caring side, it's that holistic love. That's all. I'm just busting open with it, the passion for it. But I think that was what drove Kathy into it, and then I was able to step into it and be able to be a partner with you guys. And we love being able to bring you even to our board meetings or to some of our. We're able to win by you as being a corporate sponsor. You've brought teams into some of our meetings, and
if anybody's here that's been
or some challenges.
Your pet food
challenging day, and I'm like, please let me hold your dog.
You get a little love. But if anybody's on today with us, and if you've been, because we've been at a number of joint pet food and feed conferences that we've been so happy to be invited to as a partner, where folks have gotten a chance to kind of meet some of the leaders in the pet food industry and kind of share Pet Partners. And the teams are amazing and they're so popular. So, people are just really, really rushing to get in their chance to get their trading card and have their little FaceTime with the animal. So if you've been there, let us know. I've gone to some. Kansas City, I think, was one I went to, and we've done some events in DC, like Dana mentioned. But thank you, Dana, because we're just so grateful to have you all. You are a true leader in your field, and so it's also nice to be able to partner with you. Also, a shout out, because Dana just got an award from Pet Age for being one of the women of influence. She is for all of the things she does professionally, but also as the vice chair of our board. So very deserving for that, and congratulations on that. So I saw a few questions that came up. Okay, so one person, Rennie, wanted to know give us some examples of tricks that are popular at the Children's Hospital, because you mentioned your animals do some popular tricks. Do you have any that are kind of the crowd pleasers?
Oh yeah, I made a few notes about these tricks. So we always just think of them as tricks. We should also think of them for physical therapy and kind of the rehab part of this. Yes, the dogs make everyone smile, but they can also make our patients work. And if your dog can go get a ball, someone throwing a ball, I mean, that's a trick. Your dog will go get the ball. Maybe they don't go get the ball, but the person threw the ball, and that's part of it. So some nice, easy tricks. Shake, shake could turn into high five, could turn into good job. It could also turn into a potograph, so they could potograph that card before they hand it over. That's what, Tilly's a big potographer.
That's
you know.
precious.
So the potograph is probably one of the most important things, along with everybody wants to shake. And there's also Lucy will play hide and seek. She'll put her paws up and hide herself down. And I would urge you to, when you think of tricks, like a lot of people call the paws up, head down, say your prayers, but not everybody that would be appropriate for. So you can hide and seek. Also with, oh, my dog can play dead. We don't do those kind of tricks at the hospital.
Right.
So, you know, it might be relax, you know, and you could change the name of your tricks to wherever you go. And also just think about other popular things. If your dog can shake hands, they could probably guess which hand the treat's in, you know, because dogs can smell. They could probably guess what cup the dog food is in if you mix them around and maybe have a little hole so they can smell. There's a lot of like those simple tricks that are super fun for dogs. Let's see. Oh, Tilly can get in a box and some other cute little things, but we don't take the box. It's good on Zoom. And that's what's good about Zoom is we could do a lot of things we're not doing in the hospital because I
You
could
have some
two
virtual
dogs.
tricks. Yeah.
I could have 2 dogs on Zoom. I can't take 2 dogs in a visit. Sorry, pet partners, if I'm not supposed to have 2 on Zoom, but I think it's okay. But you know, a box, we would have to normally clean it if we were at the hospital. At home. Tilly, get in your box, get out of your box, get on your box, all those kind of things. And then Lucy might be scared of the box, so she'll hop down for a minute. But there's just a lot of things. So I would encourage you, if your dogs do tricks, make a list because you're going to forget them when they go. And they're like, what can your dog do? And like, they could shake. Oh my gosh, I forgot roll over. And I'd also encourage you to learn your tricks names in other languages if that's important or popular in your area.
Yeah.
So Tilly can roll over, but she knows vuelta, so roll over. You know, espera is wait, you know, and I'm probably saying this horrible, but, you know, Arkansas. So, so like if you've got regular tricks or hand signals, learning an extra word or two in another language that's possible just makes our visits more inclusive for other people, and other people can kind of join in and, you know, and feel engaged and, you know, more part of our interactions as well. And I've also been corrected on my pronunciation by parents, and they just get a kick out of it, and they think it's funny too. And like, it's all great. If at any time in a visit we could make someone forget for 10 seconds that their child is sick or they're at the hospital, you know, it's a big win.
That's
so
amazing.
I hope that answered your question about tricks.
But you're right, Dana, because Rennie is like super handler, super team. And so we also don't want to give the idea that you have to have this huge menu of tricks, because sometimes the visit is just simple. It's just that time and your animal being still and someone just enjoying that touch, that gaze directly eye to eye. I mean, that simplicity is beautiful too. So we don't want to kind of take the emphasis on, it can sometimes be very quiet, a very simple interaction. Where maybe everyone in the room is just a little quiet. I've heard, and I bet you have this too, that so many times our pet partners' animals, these therapy animals, can sense the energy in the room, and they will change their behavior based on how the interaction's happening. And so sometimes they know, I need to be calm, I need to be quiet, I need to be still. And sometimes they're on and energetic. And so it's amazing that innate sense that they have on how to interact in particular situations that might differ from their last visit.
Yeah. So if I ask her for a high five and she doesn't do it, or if she's laying down and, you know, and I try to get her, if she's just going to lay, she just needs to lay. That's where she wants to be. And Lucy's not a huge tricker. She's got long hair and she has magic fur, is what I like to tell people. Just put your hands in her fur and you'll feel better. It's super soft and shiny. And when she's like, after her bath, she smells so nice and clean. And, you know, it's just the magic fur. And I have a friend who had a Labrador who, you know, can your Labrador do any tricks? She can sleep and she can cuddle and she can snuggle. So those are like, you know, her tricks were all, you know, laying down tricks. So, you know, when we say tricks, it doesn't mean your dog actually has to do something. It can mean like, watch this. They're on the bed, or they're asleep, or, they're looking at you. I mean, a trick can be anything. So don't think like you have to go to trick school or have,
Yes.
a trick anything. Like you can name whatever, you can like, look, Tilly's like a baby doll. She's like a little rag. This is Tilly's rag doll trick.
Tilly.
She's
She's
just
so
tired.
sweet.
She's like, I'm done, Mama. And this
Oh,
is an
I see.
example of when they're done.
Bellin says he calls that fur therapy. You're right, Bellin. You've got that long, beautiful coat too. So magic fur and fur therapy, all those good things. Does anybody have any more questions? I see we've got some specific questions on the steps to become a handler or how to get an evaluation. So we're following up in the chats with some useful links. We put some links about advocacy and how to get involved with that. I'm so glad you mentioned that because not everybody has an animal right now that's suitable for therapy animal work. So it's important to know as we're talking about the value in supporting pet partners, that there are other ways to do that. So through volunteering as an advocate to support anything around educating our lawmakers and decision makers, any kind of work that we're doing to promote the human-animal bond and the ways that animals can help our lives. And also Dana mentioned early some events. We do the world's largest pet walk. We have treats and sweets day. So just fun family oriented things that are coming up throughout the year because you're kind of an all-star. So you've done a lot of these different activities and special initiatives that we have throughout the year. So anyone can support pet partners. And also just like Dana mentioned, I've got friends and family watching today. Just taking the time to understand a little bit about what your friend or family member who is a handler is doing and what their journey is as a volunteer and how they're impacting our communities in really profound and wonderful ways. So thank you to all you handlers. I see tons of you. I recognize many of the names as you're sharing your messages in the chat. So thank you for all you do as well. We could do a Facebook Live every day with the wonderful handlers that we have. I'm telling you, we would never run out of material.
And you don't have to have an animal to be a pet partner member at all. And a lot of your places and your facilities that have pet therapy teams, we need you if you don't have an animal as well. If you love pet partners and therapy dogs and therapy cats and that work, contact a facility and see if you could be a helping hand, see if you could be an escort, see if there's something you can do to assist the teams, because those are invaluable resources for us. They drape the beds with sheets, they document our visits, they make sure everybody's sanitized, everybody's got their masks on. Those are, some great volunteer positions that are available around your areas too. And if you have a therapy dog that you're trying to get to be a therapy dog, or you're a new team and you really want to see in action other examples, do those volunteer positions in other places as well and get that experience so you can see how to be a better team. I'm a better team because I go and I assist other teams and watch them and what they do and how they interact.
That's great insight.
That's great.
Wonderful. There's so many different ways.
Point. We don't have to have a pet to still be a volunteer. We can learn from that. And I'd also like to make sure, we spend a lot of time talking about dogs, which are, so great and they're easy, pretty accepted in a lot of facilities now. But my first pet partner board meeting, I got to hold a rabbit. And that was, part of a team. And so don't discount your favorite pet. If you think they have something special, then you should check out to see if they qualify. I have a friend that I hope is listening right now that has a miniature cow and a little baby fainting goat, and they are so cute. And I think that she would be a great team. So, because I think that would be unique. So
we registered 9 species. I'm sure that, I think the number 2 spot always goes back and forth between cats and mini horses. They're pretty neck and neck. Oh, they're just wonderful. But Rennie, you mentioned the pocket pets. So we have little like guinea pigs and bunnies. We've got some rats in our program. I was talking to a handler who has a rat and I was like, who do you visit? And she said, do you know who we're so popular with? teen boys. She was visiting in a classroom and she said, we can't visit often enough. They love to see my therapy rat. So you're exactly right. We're inclusive of multiple species. So we have so many different interesting llamas, different animals that are registered with Pet Partners, which are amazing.
We have Adele the alpaca here.
That's what's exciting.
We have Buddy the parrot here in Arizona.
So Buddy is great for the reading programs, right? I've seen Buddy. So Buddy, I swear, I think can read, because Buddy, when kids are reading to Buddy, Buddy's eyes are going along, looking at the pictures, reading the heading. It's amazing. It's so fun. So, and that brings the point. We have all of our special initiatives. Like, I know you've done a lot with Read With Me and, different Walk With Me and some of our things. So we will have many ways to support folks that are interested in also, ways that we support you as you're volunteering with different groups. So whether it's seniors or students who might have literacy challenges, folks that are in hospitals, and also, so much guidance around infection control, which is so important. But we were talking about that before we had this pandemic. It's always been a priority of ours. So just know you'll have a lot of support and ongoing education and wonderful volunteers like Rennie, veteran volunteers that can help you, that have done this for years, that are there to help support you as well. I think we're almost to the end of our time, guys. It felt like it was 5 minutes. How did this go by so quickly?
All of us Southerners, we can talk.
Yeah.
Well, if we didn't get to all of the answers to your questions, don't worry. We'll continue to follow up with some comments, and you can always visit petpartners.org. But I just want to close by saying thank you to both of you, amazing supporters of Pet Partners. We really appreciate you, Dana. We really appreciate you, Rennie, and we appreciate your Pet Partners that are there. They popped in and out today. So Lucy, Tilly, we appreciate you too. Do you guys have any closing words before we sign off?
I wanted to thank all of my Facebook friends and groups. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. I have Facebook friends. You Enjoy My Pets, my Pet Partners groups, my Arkansas friends, my Arizona friends, and thank everybody for coming out. It's great to see your names scroll by. And I thank you for coming so much. And thank
Absolutely.
you for our sponsors as well. And thank you for inviting me.
Thanks for being here. And Dana, you were going to chime in?
I was just going to say thanks to the corporate sponsors, because they really do make a difference for this whole organization. And just don't forget, giving to Pet Partners gives to communities, but also they can visit you too. So I want to thank our big sponsor, our corporate sponsors, for their support, and for Pet Food Institute for being my board supporting us being a sponsor as well.
Absolutely. We can't appreciate our partners enough, our volunteers. It's a true community of amazing giving individuals, animals, partners. So we are so grateful for all of you, and can't wait. We'll be on again soon talking with you with some other topics. We've got so many great Facebook Lives coming up, so make sure you follow us so you don't miss any of this. So you guys have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.